South Africa, a land of stunning beauty and vibrant cultures, bore a dark secret for much of the 20th century: apartheid. This system of racial segregation, enforced by a white minority government, divided communities and oppressed millions. Black South Africans were treated as second-class citizens in their own land. Under apartheid, every aspect of life was dictated by race. People were classified as white, black, colored, mixed race, or Indian. Where people could live, work, and even travel was determined by their racial classification. Education and healthcare were segregated, and black South Africans were denied basic rights and opportunities. In 1948, the National Party formalized apartheid into law, further entrenching racial divisions. The African National Congress, or ANC, emerged as a leading voice against this injustice, advocating for equality and an end to segregation. Among its most prominent figures was Nelson Mandela, a young lawyer who rose to prominence within the organization. Mandela's unwavering belief in justice and equality led him to join the armed wing of the ANC, the Umkhonto we Sizwe. In 1964, he and several other ANC leaders were arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment for sabotage and other charges. Mandela's imprisonment, spanning 27 years, would become a symbol of resistance against apartheid both within South Africa and around the world. Nelson Mandela's spirit remained unbroken throughout his long imprisonment. Confined to a small cell on the notorious Robben Island, he endured harsh conditions and the constant threat of violence from his captors. Yet he never wavered in his commitment to justice and equality. From his prison cell, Mandela became a potent symbol of the struggle against apartheid. His image adorned posters and banners worldwide, and his name became synonymous with the fight for freedom and equality in South Africa. Despite being cut off from the outside world, Mandela's influence grew as international pressure mounted on the South African government to dismantle apartheid. Mandela's unwavering commitment to his principles and his remarkable resilience in the face of adversity inspired millions across the globe. He became an icon of hope for oppressed people everywhere, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure even in the darkest of times. By the late 1980s, the tide began to turn against apartheid. Years of international sanctions, coupled with internal unrest and mounting pressure from anti-apartheid activists, had taken their toll on the South African government. A new era was dawning, one in which dialogue and reconciliation would replace the violence and oppression of the past. In 1990, after years of campaigning by activists, politicians and international organizations, Nelson Mandela walked free from prison. His release marked a turning point in South African history, signaling the beginning of the end of apartheid. Mandela emerged from his years of confinement not with bitterness, but with a message of forgiveness and reconciliation. Mandela's release was greeted with jubilation across South Africa and around the world. Millions had campaigned for his freedom, recognizing him as a symbol of hope and the embodiment of the struggle against apartheid. His release marked the beginning of a new chapter in South African history, one in which the dismantling of apartheid and the creation of a democratic society were paramount. Following his release, Nelson Mandela embarked on a path of reconciliation, working tirelessly to heal the wounds of the past. He understood that building a new South Africa required more than just dismantling the structures of apartheid. It required a fundamental shift in attitudes and beliefs. Mandela's commitment to forgiveness and reconciliation was evident in his interactions with former adversaries. He met with F.W. de Klerk, the last apartheid-era president who had played a key role in his release. Together, they engaged in delicate negotiations to chart a new course for South Africa, culminating in the country's first multiracial elections in 1994. Mandela's message of forgiveness resonated deeply with many South Africans, both black and white, who were yearning for an end to decades of racial strife. His ability to transcend bitterness and hatred, to see beyond the divisions of the past, was instrumental in guiding the country towards a more just and equitable future.